Welcome back to Rants and Reels. I'm Kyle. I'm on my way to go see a movie, and today it's Solo, a Star Wars story. Kind of excited. The little kid inside me is just thrilled to see this on a big screen or on a small screen, any screen. I'm excited to see this because I grew up with these characters. I love Han Solo and Lando. I loved them when I was a kid. I wished I could be that cool. No one is that cool. I am going to hope, along with everybody else going to see this, that it's a fantastic movie and hits all the right marks. Let's see. I'm going to be back in a second, and I'm going to let you know where it hits, where it misses, if it misses, who shoots first. Till then, take a look at the theatrical trailer for Solo, a Star Wars story, Star Wars movie.
You're after something. Is it revenge? Money? Or is it something else?
You look good. A little rough around the edges, but good.
Heard about a job. Big shot gangster putting together crew.
I'm a driver, and I'm a flyer. I waited a long time for a shot like this. What do you think? Well, what do you know?
You got a line on a ship?
Yeah, I know a guy. He's the best smuggler around.
I heard a story about you. I was wondering if it's true.
Everything you've heard about me is true.
L3!
Let go of the mean man's face.
Who are these guys?
If you come with us, you're in this life for good.
You might wanna buckle up, baby.
Here they come! Let me give you some advice. Assume everyone will betray you, and you will never be disappointed.
I got a really good feeling about this.
Since when do you know how to fly?
190 years old? You look great.
Push it! So glad we took this job!
Solo. I had expectations of what I might see. I did in fact see the things that I was expecting to see. So expectations were met. The next big question that I had on my mind was, could Alden Ehrenreich, could he make a close enough approximation to Harrison Ford's character to pass the suspension of disbelief? That we're looking at somebody who doesn't look like the character that we know. He did enough to make it a unique and his own character, and enough to give you the hint, the essence of Ford's Han Solo. So yes, that did meet that expectation, meet that bar. The real show stealer, the real scene stealer, the real star here is Lando. Donald Glover could not have embodied a better young Lando Calrissian. So that was exciting. That was an absolute pleasure to watch. It was an immense amount of fun, and it was exhilarating to see on screen some of these stories and just little quirks and traits and hints, to see these things come to fruition. There are things that happen that if I mention names, fans would know exactly what I was talking about. So I can't even really talk in extremely vague terms about some of these things. And I don't want to ruin the surprise for anybody. So as much as I want to talk about, I'm not going to. Oh, I really want to talk about it, but I'm not going to. I think I'm going to save it for the full written review, where I can put things kind of behind a spoiler wall. It was good. This did take things back to the original trilogy. It was very similar. It was a very kind of similar feeling that you got with Rogue One, where you were seeing some of these old places, old stories you have heard and known, but now you're seeing them play out. So it was very fun getting this backstory. Ron Howard did a fantastic job finishing off this film. How much was him? That's hard to say. At least 75% of what we saw was Ron Howard, either recutting and reframing what was previously filmed or scrapping it and starting over. His excellent storytelling chops, those fingerprints are all over it. All over this film, and it really works. It really works on multiple levels. I really do honestly hope that this is the beginning of a trilogy or a spin-off series, something, because after watching Solo, a Star Wars story, I want more of this story. I want more of these characters, and I am ecstatic that we now have them. I have a lot more to say, but I need to think of a way to say it without spoiling anything, so I gotta think of some really vague euphemisms. Right back with you. Now, I've had a few minutes to think about this because I needed to make a stop on my way home from the theater. I had to drop off some books. My book at a bookstore because they were out. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'd like to, but I'm not to. But I'm not. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm here driving home to talk about Solo. Now, I already said a few things. It hit the marks. The characters were either good enough. So there are really only two in question. Han Solo and Lando. Donald Glover was spot on. Alden, Ehrenreich. It's got a hard name to pronounce, and I can't read it right now. He did what I would call a close enough approximation. He did a fine enough job to know that is Han Solo. We know this guy. Let's move on. So yes, it passed the suspension of disbelief well enough that I didn't have a problem with it. Took a minute to get used to it. That's because I've had a lifetime to get used to the Harrison Ford as Han Solo. Moving past that, there are a lot of little things, kind of mentioned previously, because I'm looking for, vague euphemisms for events in this movie, as to not ruin anyone's fun, because that's the name of this game. Fun. So, this film is nostalgic, but Ron Howard was able to use that nostalgia as a stepping stool instead of a crutch. It was an ever-present theme, but just enough to allow you to step into the story and to go, I know these characters, okay. It was very much, as you would kind of expect, a crime syndicate heist type movie. It centers around the crime lords and the organized crime rings in the Star Wars universe. And from that, they borrowed, I can't really say borrowed because it's their stuff, but they used many different elements from the old expanded universe, which is great that they're tapping those resources, but they're tapping them selectively. We like this piece. So they kept kind of the background story that Han Solo was an Imperial cadet. They kept in place that he met, while he was an Imperial cadet, he met Chewbacca and rescue. So they kept those elements in place, and that was fantastic to see. And by the way, I'm sorry if that kind of spoils anything for anybody, but I gotta have something to talk about. We get to see the Millennium Falcon in Lando's hands. What he did to that ship. It's not spoilers. He made his own modifications to that ship. That's all I'm saying. What you see in the trailers and the production shots and everything, that's not stock. That's all aftermarket. Not all of it, but it's like mostly aftermarket. Lando did that. A lot of this stuff also really, really makes some of the interaction that you see between Han Solo and Lando Calrissian in Empire Strikes Back even better. What did you do to my ship? Brings so much more to those old lines. And that's really the best part about a prequel. I mean, we know how a lot of things are going to play out in a prequel. That's just a given. The real gem with these is, how does it inform the rest of the story? How does it develop these characters and give them a little bit more depth? And then how does it enhance the original story? In this case, the original trilogy, and even Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, even Rogue One to an extent. It does a very good job of adding some informative elements to those stories. There are tie-ins. There are tie-ins all over the place, as you would expect. But really, where you're going to find probably the most satisfying for fans, the tie-ins to Star Wars Rebels, which was a fantastic series. Absolutely a fantastic series, and I loved it to death. The tie-ins to that series are beautifully well done, and I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch these to see how Solo informs that story and those characters, because I'm hoping to be very pleasantly surprised. I feel like I'm running long here. I'm running long here. I did adore this movie. I thought, like almost every movie, there are things that could have been done better, but they're not my decisions to make, and maybe my decisions, or what I think would be better, wouldn't work that well. So you got to take that, even I have to take that with a grain of salt. So, but there are some things that I don't think worked, or things that perhaps were not as well developed as they could have been. Some things which, I think maybe were great ideas on paper, but the execution kind of faltered. I'm going to expand on those elements a little bit more down in my written review. You'll find that in the video description. Please, by all means, check that out. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off right here, and I'm going to thank you very much for watching and listening to what I have to ramble about. This is Rants and Reels. I'm Kyle. I'll catch you guys again next time.